Hello, welcome back to another episode, Spotlight on More TV Network. I'm your host, Colette Martin. Today we're going to be talking to Shirlette Robinson. So let's welcome her in. Hi, Shirlette.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Welcome to another episode of Spotlight on More TV Network.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Tell us a little bit about who Shirlette is.
Um, I like to use the term serial entrepreneur. I'm into a lot of different things. And pretty much all of my businesses now are things that are just products of things that I enjoy doing, I guess you can say. And they just kind of grew from there.
Okay. Is there like a certain person or situation that led you to want to become a serial entrepreneur? Or was it, oh, I have a full time job, this is a side hustle, and then it went from there?
Definitely my son. It's just a matter of me not wanting to like I'm the type of parent, like I'm working like a seasonal gig that I do every year, taking pictures of kids with Santa at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm literally only gone for like 7 hours a day, but I'm like, I miss my son, I need to get back home. And I just saw him, like I'm fine. But it's just that kind of thing where I don't want to do a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. I don't think it's not gonna make either one of us happy, kind of thing. So I think it just stemmed from that, just wanting to be with him as much as possible.
Okay, alrighty. So when you say, well, first of all, where exact you're coming up to us from the East Coast, and we're in Texas.
Hmm.
So where are you
Okay.
on the East Coast?
I'm in Virginia.
Virginia. Okay, so is your background from the Virginia area? Did you relocate there? How'd that come to be?
Yeah, I've been in Virginia my whole life, minus my college years. I went to Morgan State for like 3 years, and then I changed over to the online thing. So I should be finishing up in like a year, getting my bachelor's.
Oh, well, congratulations. Stick
Thank
with
you.
it. You can do it. I know this is a crazy situation we're in right now, but yes, keep it
Go to
going.
your
Keep it
room.
going.
I thought you wanted candy. We talked about this. Go to your room, babe. Go to your room. He just wanted to show me his dance.
Well, you know what? We're not in the studio. These things
Right.
happen. We're at home. So
Right.
it's okay. It is quite okay. Um, so when you decided to, like you said, deal with being an entrepreneur based on products that you enjoy, tell us about the different like businesses that you took a dive into.
Okay. I believe the very first one is my visual artistry business now, but it started out with me just being a photographer. I'm self-taught with that. And another thing that had to do with my son that came from I was taking really cute pictures of him without really trying. So I was like, I wonder if I like figured out how to actually use a camera like on manual and everything. Could I turn this into something? So yeah, I just started practicing with that. And I think I started out using Craigslist and just doing like free shoots for whoever needed one or something like that. And then it just grew from there. Now I'm turned into videography and graphic design and stuff like that. And then my second one is my apothecary type business, and that one started out with doing stuff like skincare stuff like shea butter and stuff like that, and it changed to kind of like an herbalist type thing. I kind of just made it my goal to know about a lot of herbs and oils and what they do and that kind of stuff. And now it's moving into the goal is to get my doctorate in psychology so that I can be like a holistic psychologist, so I could put those two parts of myself together with like the the love for the human brain, and then like with herbs and everything like that, and see if I can help people out with depression and anxiety and stuff like that. And then the last one is the most recent one. This one started this year, I believe in May, um, with a woman that I met online in one of like the nerdy anime groups that we're a part of. And we decided to start a business called Black Women for Black Excellence. And we're pretty much like a business consulting firm. And we just help small businesses and startups like get off the ground or scale up to the next level.
Okay. And yes, I mean that is a good collection of pretty much different things
Right,
or
right.
streams of income, as we say as entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good mix. One kind of leads into the other, so that's really pretty good.
Thank
Um,
you.
so as far as I get where the photography came in. Um, so is your, and maybe I missed it. So is your major in psychology?
Not yet. When I first started, I didn't know I wanted to be a psychologist. So my major right now for my bachelor's is alternative medicine at Everglades University, but I go online.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so then when I do my master's, I'll start shifting it over to the psychology side.
Okay. Well, what made you like decide to go into that field?
I have a group on Facebook that's just like a spiritual group for Black women,
Hmm.
and I see that the common denominator, it seems like no matter what the person's going through individually, seems to turn into some type of thing with depression and anxiety. And so I was kind of already helping people, and I technically have like my like life coach and mindfulness certificate, but I just didn't feel like that was enough. I want to actually be able to like, this is your diagnosis, this is how we can help you kind of thing. So I felt like I should just go all the way and finish it up with a doctorate so that I can do more.
That sounds really awesome. I know I spoke to a lady out of Houston. She is a psychologist who deals with women's mental issues,
Hmm.
and I mean, she's phenomenal. That is so needed. Like we had discussed on another show, that a lot of time as especially women of color,
Hmm.
um, we tend to hold everything in and
Yeah.
not pull it out, and it's always, you should be unapologetic, and
Right.
instead we keep it in, we hide it. We want to appear to be so strong for not only our counterparts but just for ourselves.
Hmm.
And it's like we have to give ourselves permission to cry, give ourselves
Right.
permission to make mistakes, because society sees us as having these issues, the mad
Hmm.
black woman, or
Right.
well, we keep it bottled up. And we need to
Hmm.
know that there are people out there that we can speak to, people out there that we can actually talk to without having us feel like, we're having a mental breakdown or we're
Right.
crazy. And that's the stigma attached when you hear a psychologist. It's like,
Right. Yeah.
oh, well, I got to go on the couch and tell all my problems, and I'm not crazy, and, I'm this or
Hmm.
that. And, it's kind of sad that as women we have to think like that. And hopefully, with you going into that field, you can kind of break that stigma, in that perception of a
Right.
psychologist. So hopefully you
Yeah.
can do that.
Absolutely. It's definitely a goal. And I think it's something that I'm going through right now. I just started like official therapy for myself maybe a couple of months ago.
Mhm.
And the hospital, or not, what's it called, a health center that I go through,
Okay.
um, they just gave me someone, I guess because it was my first time. And she's cool, but she's a white woman and I'm just not feeling like the connection. And so I'm guessing I'm gonna have to go try with someone else because I feel like it's just different. There's just certain things that people can't connect on. So I'm hoping that that's what I can contribute to, like as a black woman to other black women.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, even though as women we kind of have the same issues, we're at
Mm-hmm.
a point right now where even though we're women, on top of that, it's being a woman of color,
Right.
which also adds into different things. And not, I mean, I have to bring this up, but a show that I watch all the time is called All Rise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, phenomenal show. That was addressed last night,
Yeah.
and how, you know, not only is she an honorable judge, you know, they didn't see her that they didn't see that she was pregnant. They just saw that she was black, and had the
Right.
nerve to say, you know, oh, well, what did you do to make the police officer angry? And it's like, well, wait a minute. You know, I'm a judge. Why was the police officer not allowing me to show my credentials? Not what
Right.
did you do wrong? It's
Right.
like, yeah, I was just
Exactly.
being black. I mean, so I don't know. I don't know. Tell us more about your online for Black women, Black excellence.
Hmm. Yeah, that's just like we started out with an app at first, just because we're kind of trying to, our whole thing centers around creating, like, you know how people say a seat at the table. We're kind of trying to create our own table at this point.
Mhm.
I'm I don't know if my business partner feels as strongly, but I'm just simply not interested in the seat at the table anymore. I'm going to create my own thing, and we're going to do that in our lane and excel in our lane instead of having to battle against even more counterparts than I feel is necessary in the world of business and stuff like that. So that's pretty much where that stemmed from. And so yeah, we just do anything from like ads and stuff like that, website building, logos, all that kind of stuff. Anything a business would need, really, we can help with that.
Oh, okay. All right. So so that's what you're dealing with. Um, do y'all actually like talk? Is that what you're trying to get away from? Talk about specific issues.
We do. We do. We have summits. We had our first one that was just a general networking type summit for business owners of color or ones that want to become business owners. And we had a bunch of really dynamic women, and they all happened to be Black women. We didn't even like do that on purpose when we were searching for speakers, but the ones that accepted happened to be like really dynamic Black women. It was fantastic. So we have another one coming up in February, and that one is for influencers of color, trying to kind of break those barriers as well.
That's pretty neat. 'Cause yeah, that conversation needs to be brought to the table. But like you said, where everyone is sitting there and pretty much trying to figure out, you know, what can we do to further, you know, Black businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So especially for women.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. Is there anything else that you add to being a serial entrepreneur?
I'm also a published author. That one's that is literally just like an enjoyment thing,
Uh-huh.
and I publish the books because I think the stories are fun and cool, so I kind of want other people to read them, and that's literally it. I'm not really necessarily trying to create like a stream of income from it. I think at the very most, it'd be cool to see them on the silver screen or something like that. But other than that, I just do it because I enjoy it.
So how many books have you wrote?
Just one, well, wrote probably like six, but I've only put out one so far, and that
Why?
one's
Why aren't you put out the other one?
I'm working on it. It's just a matter. My writing process is like self-inflictedly stressful because
Okay.
I can't do it based off of like outlines and stuff like that. The story just doesn't come out organically when I try to outline it. So I literally just sit down and start typing. So I'm trying to work through, like tying up all the loose ends and making sure it makes sense before I publish it, because I know it's a lot with the way that I write. So yeah.
All right. So the
Oh, JJ, go to your room. No, I love you. Go to your room. No, no. Sorry, 1 second.
that's okay.
Love you. Come on, get out. No, no, no. You can't watch videos.
And for those viewers and listeners out there, yes, there are so many different ways to become entrepreneur. As far as like Shirlette said, it was her passion to develop these things and to put it out there. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're thinking about doing something, it doesn't have to be one specific thing. As you hear, it could be a multitude of different things. So just if you're that person where I like to do this, I like to do that, just think about that and try to develop each one of those things. So, all right. So, what is your book that you've published now? What is that about?
I do fantasy fiction, so because that came from, well, that's just what I'm into anyway. If you like look at my like Netflix history and stuff like that, I'm into like fantasy and action superheroes and stuff like that. So this first one's about fairies, and I kind of put a little what do you call it, necromancy and like ghosts and stuff like that in there. And yeah, it's literally just like a story of kind of tying different types of metaphysical creatures together as if they all belong into the same world. So
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, I've never had anyone like to deal with that or talk about that. So that's really unique in and of itself. So that was very good. So is it found like, do you buy it like through a specific publishing company? Is it found on Amazon? Where can our viewers or listeners look into getting that book?
yes, it is on Amazon. I decided to just self-publish, and so I recently changed my author name. Now it's Moonlight Trist, but it used to be under S. Robinson, so you could find it under either one.
Okay, so you said it's on the Moonlight.
Trist.
Spell that.
Tyrst. I mean
Okay.
Tryst. Sorry.
There you go. Okay, so for those people who are listening or viewing, they can actually kind of look it up and kind of discover. Because, like I said, that's pretty unique. I've never had anyone or talked to anyone that went into that area of writing. So that's pretty awesome. Um, is there, when you were growing up, what when you know how when people say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? What was your answer?
My answer, I am admittedly a very fickle person,
Mhm.
and my mood and interest can shift with depending on what I've been exposed to. So I went from everything from I wanted to be a veterinarian, marine biologist, forensic scientist. What was the one? I think forensic scientist was the very last one before I went into college that I wanted to be. But yeah, so obviously that changed.
Say
So
she's one
yeah.
of those kids who had, way up there, and everyone's looking at you like,
Yeah.
what did she say? What is that? What is that? So yes, you are extremely intelligent in your thinking. Because the typical,
Thanks.
and you heard it in class. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a bus driver. And then you have Shirlette that says, I want to be a marine biologist. And the kids are like, what?
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean that takes a special person, obviously, which is why you've turned your passions into so many different areas, that's creating your wealth. So that's pretty good. Um, so when you meet other people who think about trying to create, or not create, but actually become an entrepreneur, what advice would you give them?
I would say kind of try to deal with your doubts really early on, because that'll be the thing that stops you from the next best thing or from putting yourself out there. Because I feel like you could miss an opportunity speaking with, like a mentor or something like that, or a potential mentor that could help you out because you're not confident in your ideas and what you can do as a business person. So I feel like it's very like that kind of like shadow work and that imposter syndrome is very important, I think, to deal with that very early on.
Okay. Um, is there, when you started going through your passion and deciding, well, let me try this, let me do this, let me try that, was it ever frustrating to 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 you when you said, okay, well, I want to start this, but then I want to start that. Was it ever frustrating to you to say, well, I really don't want to give up that to start that? Or should I do them both at the same time? Because I know with a lot of entrepreneurs, especially those who are just starting their businesses, they kind of get that confused because in their minds they have it, well, I just want to do that one thing. And you more often than not, you need additional streams of income. So,
Right.
was it ever a battle for you to decide, I want to start this, but I want to start that, and I don't want to give up that?
Um, Not really. I don't think that's giving up one thing or another has ever really been something that came into my mind. It's always been these are things that I like, so I'm going to figure out a way to do them kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and that I think that's all fueled by my extreme need not to work a 9 to 5. Like, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to not have to get a regular job kind of thing. I think that's it all centers around that.
Okay. And once again, it's that entrepreneurial spirit of, like you said,
Hmm.
I refuse to do a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
It's a matter of, am I getting someone else rich or am I going to get myself rich?
exactly.
So, and it's that battle um, that people constantly have to deal with. Um,
Mhm.
okay, so let's see here. Do you ever regret anything that you didn't try to do?
Um, no, not yet anyway. I've kind of tried to, the only thing that only project that I've ever stopped was I was trying to do a nonprofit at one point, but I came to the realization that I'm just not in the right area for the things that my nonprofit was focusing on. So I guess you can say rather than quit, I've put it on hold for when I feel like I'm in the right area to help the right people.
Okay, all right. Do you mind me asking what kind of nonprofit it was going to be?
Yeah, it was gonna be like bringing, because I live in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and this is a city that's very focused on the history, meaning like the Civil War and stuff like that. So you have all the George Washington museums and stuff like that, but we don't have much color or culture around here. So it was one of those things to try to bring the arts to the front, especially arts from people of color. And I think it's just we're very complacent here. So I tried to do a music festival. A few people came out, but I didn't get much from it. But then I saw online that people were asking for that kind of thing. So I was just like, where's the disconnect kind of thing? But I also was I don't want to be stretched too thin away from my other projects. So I was just like, well, this isn't time for it. I tried, didn't work. We'll just move on to something else from now.
Okay. Do you think growing up in that environment
Mhm.
has pushed you to kind of focus on the Black culture more?
Yeah, I could say that. I think I'm a late bloomer when it comes to um just like being, I guess, Afro forward kind of thinking, because I just haven't had to. It wasn't until what year was that? I guess it had to be 2015 when Trump first started doing his campaign circuits, and he came here to do one of like the speeches or whatever at our expo center. And I think, and in general, I lived a very like sheltered childhood. My parents, of course, just want to, you parents want to protect their kids and stuff like that. So, and then I also lived in a sheltered city, so we didn't see much of like the racism and stuff like that. And so when we went down there, me and my friends, and I wanted to take some like journalist type shots for my website. And so when I saw how many people were there in support of, it kind of broke the shell for me.
Mm.
And I think that's when it started me trying, almost becoming, I don't want to call myself an activist because I know that I could be doing more, but like almost there, it kind of just changed my whole mindset into that. And so yeah, just kind of seeing like, oh, it's here too, kind of thing. Like it hit too close to home, I guess you could say.
Okay. And that makes perfectly good sense, especially, you know, when you're not used to seeing something
Mhm.
and then you're exposed to it in a magnitude of like that.
Right.
Like you said, it hits you and that ceiling is broken. You're like, whoa,
Hmm.
what is going on here? I didn't realize it was that much.
Right.
So, okay, I mean that kind of makes sense. It makes a lot of sense actually. Um, is there any like place else that you, if you could choose, where you would have preferred to grow up compared to where you are now?
Um, I mean, definitely a firm believer in everything happens for a reason.
Hmm.
But I guess if I had to choose somewhere else, it probably would have been like California or something, just a more free flowing type of environment is probably something that would have, I don't know, I guess moved things along faster as far as like my creativity and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the reason why I ask that is because many times we grow up in certain situations or certain environments and we're like, we don't fit there.
Yeah.
You know, if I was placed here, it probably would have expanded my mind and, like you said, expanded more of my talents
Yeah.
as a person, which is why I
Exactly.
asked that. Because I know in growing up in New York City, in the Bronx, my parents had us, my sister and I, exposed to a lot of the culture that Manhattan had, whether it was
Hmm.
plays, then it, Greenwich Village, you know, the arts, the theater, music, everything. So, you know, I looked at that, and when I came to Texas, it was like, I know it's here, but where is it? You know, so I
Right.
made sure that I found that information so my kids could be exposed to the same thing. Even though
Hmm.
we're in a suburb, I wanted them to, I guess, have the same thing as far as the arts were concerned, to make sure they got it. So
Yeah.
they didn't have that feeling as you grew up and, you know, the world like cultural city and we're here in the suburbs and we didn't get anything you saw. How, why is
Right.
that, mom? You know, so I
Hmm.
wanted to make sure there was that balance there.
Yeah.
So pretty much that's why I asked the question. Is there, on your journey right now, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Um, if everything goes the way that I'm trying to manifest, we will be living in Ghana in
No,
5 years.
okay.
And I'm trying to turn my apothecary part of my holistic business into like a warehouse thing. So where the stuff that I can make, I make it, ship it home. Whoever's working for me at the time will ship out my orders and stuff like that. And then with how COVID happened, it's more apparent that people can do things remotely now. And so I will more than likely run my psychiatrist part remotely or online, um, like that. So yeah, hopefully that's where we're
Okay.
going.
I mean, now you know I'm gonna ask. Why Ghana?
Well, I'm trying to, I don't know, I just want my kid to be like a well-traveled, worldly kid, and because he's already very adventurous, and I feel like Virginia's bringing him down. It's the only way I can kind of explain that. We just don't have much here, um, for a kid like him, because I think he's very similar to me, and if I can get that going early, that'd be great. So next year we're trying to move to the UK, and we're just gonna hop around until we find ourselves in Ghana, pretty much.
Okay. Well, and like I said, there's so many countries in Africa. That's why I was like
Hmm.
Ghana, there's Nigeria, South Africa, you
Hmm.
name it, is there. That's why I said,
Yeah.
why'd you zone in on Ghana? Do you know
I
people
just
there? Or
Yeah, we know a few people. I went in 2008 with my church. We went on like a missions trip.
okay.
And so we met some friends over there when we did that. And then just in general, when I was there, I fell in love with the area, the people, the food, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, I think we could if we had to pick somewhere to settle, I
Mm-hmm.
think Ghana could be it.
Oh, see, there you go. There you
Mhm.
go. All righty. So in doing that, like you said, that there's that, would you still want to continue all of your businesses or just one? Because I think the photography part of Ghana, especially in Ghana, would
Yes.
be amazing.
Yes. Yeah, I think I would. I think I would just have to, like with the warehouse idea, I would have to tweak everything to match the fact that we won't be in one place for a while anyway. And then of course settle not in America. So things would be different just depending on, so yeah, so I would just have to tweak the businesses as well. But yeah, I think I would keep them all going.
Okay, cool. I mean, that sounds truly, truly exciting. Um, and I wish you the best of luck. This
Thank
is
you.
like seriously amazing, especially with the types, like you said, creating your entrepreneurship based on your passion. A
Mhm.
lot of time we just, oh, I want to do this and do that. And a lot of people haven't investigated that passion. It's just, oh, I would like to, as
Right.
opposed to this is what I love doing and I'm
Mhm.
gonna, make it manifest into something great. So congratulations,
Thank you.
congratulations. But pretty much that's all the questions that I have. It was nice talking to you, Shirlette. Your journey is truly amazing.
Thank
Keep
you.
it going, stay in school, get your degrees,
Mhm.
continue your business and your journey, because obviously it's working for you and you know what you love to do.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what matters, especially as an entrepreneur, that you love your work and to get
Mhm.
other people to love your work too. So
Right.
but once again, congratulations. We're going to wrap up this session with Spotlight on More TV Network. And good luck in your journey. I'll be in your corner rooting you on. It's just wonderful to see young Black women decide to get on that journey and continue, especially with your mind of excellence. So, congratulations.
Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate it.
you're welcome. For our viewers out there, Shirlette, how can they get a hold of, you said through Amazon, right?
Mhm.
Can they get a hold of the herbs and oils as well, or is that not ready yet?
No, that is ready. I have one second because it's a weird little URL. So you can go on Shirlette Robinson, which is just my whole name, Shirlette Robinson .card with 2 R's .co. And that is my website that has like everything that I do on it.
Okay, sounds good. So you heard it from her. This way you can investigate it,
Mhm.
support her. She's on a mission that we should all want to help out. We lift as we climb. So congratulations. So once again, we're ending our session of Spotlight on More TV Network. Thank you, Shirlette. We'll be talking
No
to you later. And mask up, be safe, and be kind and love one another in this season. So, good night and thank you.
Thank you.